sail from far away. They have landed, they making their move. They bring jewels, they've got something to prove. Stormy nights, yes they do return, like those winters that bring concern. The carriage was green and the envy was way too obscene. Shall pass. After all, no one passes a test. Let them rule if it's all for the best. They just get on a quest and can't handle the rest. They learn how to speak without tongues and dance to the rhythms of our town. Everyone was just glamored by mirrors of gold and the diamonds that hit on their chest. The people wait for one man to deliver. Town's awake, looking for this great achiever. So he comes off the crowd, pulls a trigger, builds his house with a crown. He's a leader.
Good afternoon and welcome to another exciting episode of Trendz. We're coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios in Johannesburg. I go by the name of Selepa Maifadi and we'll be holding it down for the next 60 minutes, getting you up to speed with all the trending showbiz news. Every year on the 21st of March, South Africa celebrates Human Rights Day to commemorate the Sharpeville massacre. Today, we will be highlighting the importance of this public holiday the best way we know how. We kick-started the show with genre and gender-bending multidisciplinary artist Umlilo, who's on the lineup of the Human Rights Day Festival that we will be unpacking shortly. We have a lot of great content for you today, and I'm sure, as you already know, all the great television and filmmakers are in Sun City for the South African Film and Television Awards, and all the fashion kings and queens are out in Cape Town for one of the biggest fashion showcases. We have Nadia out there getting us the updates on the runway trends that are yet to hit the streets, and of course, this week's social media news. We have all this and more, so do follow us and interact with us on @Trendz on SABC. Artist Jonathan Fremantle's first solo art exhibition is currently on show at Gallery Momo in Parktown, north of Johannesburg. Titled The Oldest Mountain, the exhibition is a personal expression of Jonathan's depth of appreciation for the Magaliesberg and its mountains. The artist uses the philosophy of alchemy, which is to purify, mature, and perfect certain objects, and in this case, it's stones. Take a look.
Inspired by nature and the world around him, Fremantle explores the mountains of Magaliesberg, picking up stones for his artwork. To get his canvases looking like this, Jonathan grinds stones to a finer texture to get color, and this is how he does it.
Just to illustrate the process that I go by, I climb the mountain that I'm working with, in this particular mountain in Magaliesberg, and I'll look for rocks that I can work with and turn into paint. In this particular area, there's a lot of this red ochre, which is this beautiful oxide color, and I'll collect it and put it into my muller like this. You can see this painting here has got the paint, the red and pink behind there is the same paint that I made from these rocks. Here's one of the rocks, and it's rather manual, but you just smash up the rocks and I mean, it's a much longer process, but you're grinding it until essentially you have a fine powder like this. And this powder then becomes the basis of the paint that I make. And I'll mix, this is a bit dirty, but I'll mix the ochre, this red color, with a combination of oil, resin, and turpentine. The resin is this stuff. It's the resin from the damar trees. It's called damar resin. So you know when you cut a tree and it bleeds, it's that sap that becomes this shiny substance that gives the paint body. And then you mix it with linseed oil and a little bit of turpentine. I've got a mix here, and I'll pour it in. And use a tool like this to fold the paint into the oil. See here we're mixing with a bit of the black. The black came from Marikana mines, which I reference in this show as well. And the red came from the Mohawk. And then you use a tool like this, which is a flat surface, on a flat surface, and you're grinding the granules between two flat surfaces, which makes them finer, but also coats them with the oil. So that essentially, your final product, and I'm going through it quickly here, but in a longer sense, you end up with what you have here, which is paint. So that is a very quick version of what I'm doing all the time with these paintings. And the beauty of it is that you have a painting which is made of the thing that you're depicting. So there's kind of magic of having something which you picked up as a rock, brought to your studio. You go through this kind of ritual of working with it and breaking it down, and it's almost like a religious experience for me.
Jonathan creates his canvases based on what he feels at a particular time. However, art fanatics can also draw their own pictures in mind. What is this exhibition really about?
So the oldest mountain refers to the Mohawk Range, which is one of the 10 oldest mountains in the world. The Earth is the same age, but this particular range is the third oldest exposed Earth on our Earth. And I'm fascinated with this idea of places that are ancient and sacred and have a kind of depth of meaning. And for me, mountains are my cathedrals. It's where I find that sublime, ecstatic feeling that other people might have in a cathedral or a shore.
Through each piece of art here, it is quite evident that the images are of mountain ranges, waterfall and valleys of the Mohawk. The exhibition is set to take a tour to New York, but will be on at the gallery until the end of the month.
This week, we paid homage to all those who lost their lives fighting for democracy. Point of reference, the Sharpeville Massacre. To commemorate that day, the Constitutional Hill partnered with the Human Rights and Social Justice Fraternity by presenting the inaugural Human Rights Festival, which commenced yesterday. The festival's robust program involves social justice and human rights organizations and activists across all spectrums of our society, providing an extensive 3 days of mixed media art platforms, expanding on this day in history. Film, of course, is one of the key disciplines in this festival. The program has screenings of Ingeba, Winnie, Radiance of Resistance, and a documentary film that exploring the parallels, history and effects of our current urban environment that's titled Not in My Neighborhood. Let's quickly take a look at it and then go deeper into it. Well, that is not the film. That is actually the song that was just sang just a couple of minutes ago by Umlilo, Umzabalazo. But we're going to quickly try to get the trailer of that film. And we're now joined by Reisa Cole, who produced that gripping film, Not in My Neighborhood. Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having us.
I'm very well, thank you. So tell us a bit about Not in My Neighborhood. What is the film about?
Well, basically, our director, Kurt Alderson, has been making movies about Africa and the Africa diaspora for over 10 years now. And the more he explored our stories, the more he found that at the center of the violence that Africans face around the world was space and geography. And so we made this film really to understand the kind of contemporary forms of spatial violence and geographic violence, and how that links to kind of the dispossession and displacement in the past.
So, I mean, you know, there's a whole lot of issues on land, and why the importance of having this film showcasing or really being screened at this festival?
Well, I think the point of the film, or the aim of the film, was really to look at struggles around the world, how ordinary citizens were fighting for their right to the city around the world. And so the film is based in 3 cities, Cape Town, Sao Paulo and New York, and the intention is to build solidarity between these people that are kind of fighting for their cities, and also not just solidarity, but also for them to inspire each other and to learn from different models of activism and social mobilization.
So in this festival, the film screening started yesterday with Ingeba. Have you been to check out some of the films that are also showcasing at the festival?
I've seen Ingeba, but I'll only start my festival going today. The film is at 4 o'clock. It will be screening at 4 o'clock, and we hope to see you there.
So what are you expecting? I mean, what are you going to be doing? Give us a breakdown of what people can expect to see today at the Con Hill.
Well, the whole intention of the festival is to not only come and view films or to be entertained by films, but also to take action afterwards. So we'll be screening the film, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards, and with the Socio-Economic Rights Institute, and different activists working in the urban space in Johannesburg. And the idea is really then to be inspired by the film and then to translate that into action.
So where else can we see the film if by some reason we can't manage to make it to the Con Hill today?
Well, we're currently in the kind of festival season.
Okay.
So that's the first kind of series of distribution, and then after that we are working with different distributors to kind of have global platforms of distribution, so I'll keep you informed.
Well, we look forward to that. So any other things? Are you working on something else with related to housing? Because I mean, this issue is really a big one, and it's good that you're telling the story or this issue through film.
I think for me, because I'm an urban planner, not a filmmaker,
yes,
it was very important, because we often see the urban debate as being, on the one side, the big bad legislative framework that's imposing and top down, and then on the other side we see social movements as one big collective that is fighting against that. But for me, what was really important, and what film is particularly equipped to do, is to really tell the kind of everyday chronicling of how people interact with the city, how they use the spaces around them in a very intimate way. And film allows you to do that. So they'll definitely, Not in My Neighborhood starts the conversation, and it starts to do that, but a lot of work needs to be done in terms of understanding how people actually use the cities and how policies actually affect them.
And we know that this year we're also celebrating the centenary of Nelson Mandela. How are you tying this in with some of the projects that you're going to be working on this year?
I think that the kind of one of the lessons that Nelson Mandela had was to not overlook the kind of small things that people do. And that translates into the film, and the kind of activism around that is to understand that like mass movements are made up of very small stories and very small actions, and that collectively is a very powerful thing. So that is what we're trying to do with the film, and in the distribution of the film is to really tell the stories of ordinary people and how they collectively are fighting for their right to the city.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Raisa, for coming through to Trendz. Well, that was Raisa Cole telling us all things about Not in My Neighborhood, which is a documentary film that's going to be screening today at the Constitution Hill for the Human Rights Festival, which starts at 4 o'clock, right? Yes, and the entrance is free. You're more than welcome to go and check it out.
Hello beautiful people, we're coming to you from the Revolving Restaurant in the Mother City, Cape Town, where all things jazz and fashion are happening. But I'm here to bring you the news, so let's get right to it. We've got a brand new Black Panther in town, but only this one is not really into serving humanity, improving racial representation, or shouting Wakanda forever. But let's take a look.
La Pantera Negra, it turns out, is the ruthless, Beatles-loving Mexican cartel kingpin in Gringo. A comedy crime caper starring South Africa's very own Shalter Copley alongside Charlize Theron, David Oyelowo and Joel Edgerton. Gringo, part comedy, part white-knuckle actioner, follows a businessman as he finds himself crossing the line from law-abiding citizen to wanted criminal.
I don't even care anymore. I'm doing it. I'm having the malo.
Now, on the Black Panther that we all know and love, the film has broken yet another record, becoming the most tweeted about film of all time.
The film has been mentioned more than 35 million times, knocking off Star Wars The Force Awakens from the top spot and placing Star Wars The Last Jedi in 3rd place. The most shared posts have come from Kendrick Lamar, whose soundtrack reveal was retweeted over 240,000 times, and Michelle Obama, whose endorsement of the film scored over 139,000 retweets.
Is changing.
After a long, drawn-out legal battle, Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams have lost the appeal for their hit song, Blurred Lines.
A federal appeals court this week upheld a copyright infringement verdict against Robin Thicke and Pharrell Williams. 2 judges rejected the defense's request to overturn a jury verdict or order a new trial, saying that Marvin Gaye's copyright on the song is entitled to broad protection.
That's all we have for you right now, but we'll be back next week with so much more. For now, I'm off to enjoy this beautiful city. Bye guys!
SABC is the official broadcaster of the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia.
We cross live, give updates and cover sport.
The observer missions, what are they saying?
It will be a very difficult announcement to make, to say whether these elections have been free and fair.
1 in every 100 people are diagnosed with arthritis daily. In an effort to raise awareness, a handful of elderly women, they took to the streets of Soweto to stretch their fight against the ailment.
Western Province upset the Sharks by 33 points to 21 to be crowned the 2017 Currie Cup champions at the Kings Park Stadium.
In Durban.
On time with weather every hour, all the time. For all news, stay tuned to AM News every Saturday and Sunday at 10:00 hours Central African Time.
Welcome back to Trendz. The National Film and Video Foundation hosted women in the film industry at Sun City's Lost City Palace near Rustenburg in the northwest ahead of the South African Film and Television Awards ceremony. The event was aimed at encouraging dialogue amongst women in the industry and to support one another. Transformation in filmmaking was also at the top of the agenda. Let's take a look.
It's about celebrating the women in the film and television industry. Women of all dresses and hats gathered to empower each other as the 12th annual SAFTA looms. A slice of cake and a cup of tea is all a woman needs. So why is it so important to gather like this?
It all lies in the slogan, united we stand, divided we fall. I think it is not going to help the cause of women, for us as women, to think that we can do it all ourselves.
Making progress. The department has encouraged women to build each other up instead of being competitors.
If you find a woman that is not as hardworking as you are, you tend to overlook her or look down on her and say, when actually we should be saying, let's find resources to build this woman and grow her.
Among the guests of honor was Connie Chiume. She was recently cast in the trailblazing American superhero film Black Panther that is still in cinemas nationwide. She had a few wise words for those aspiring to follow in her footsteps.
If it's your passion and it's something that you want to do, definitely from the depth of your heart, now I will advise that do a little bit of research, is it really what you want to do? And if it is, go to school.
The glitz and glamour of the 12th annual SAFTAs starts on the red carpet at 5 this afternoon.
Sun City in the northwest is buzzing this weekend as the 12th annual South African Film and Television Awards, honoring the country's television and movie stars for their work in the industry, themed Our Stories Are Gold in honor of those who have captured our hearts, minds and imaginations through the telling of our unique stories. The SAFTAs are more than award-winning ceremony. They also aim to celebrate excellence and develop new talent. We're now crossing live to Ulebukeng Khosilintwe, who is in Sun City to tell us about what she got up to yesterday, mingling with industry players at a tea party and a lot more. Hi Ulebukeng, how are you?
Good afternoon, Selepe. It's a very lovely, warm, sunny day here in Sun City. We are anticipating, the best of the best, as you mentioned, in film and television making. But I must mention that the hype is not as it's been throughout the previous year. It has been relatively quiet, even on social media. It has just not been it just didn't get the excitement that it got or the people's attention that it got in comparison to last year. Selepe?
Tell us a bit about some of the people that are nominated and just give us a breakdown of what we can expect tonight.
So let me briefly just start by saying that yesterday we were hosted by the CEO of the NFVF, Ms. Zamamkosi, and talking with a lot of women in the film and TV industry, just about their challenges, their successes, and some of the things that they can change, or some of the ways that they can grow each other and help develop each other as women in the industry. And we were graced by so many influential women in the film industry. To mention a few, as you saw in the insert, Mama Connie Chiume Tusombedu, as one of the young South African film makers and actresses who was recently nominated for an Emmy and who's also nominated here today. So to go into some of the nominees today, we are looking at soapies or drama or telenovas such as The Queen, Isibaya, Uzalo, Sieven Delan, the big names that are always out to scoop all of the awards. But Jovicho, I must say, as a newcomer, is also on board. We're expecting to see Warren Masemola walk away with quite a few SAFTAs, just like he did last year. We're also expecting to see the likes of Tumelo Mutotwane for best presenter, Lerato Khanyago for best presenter, Thuso Mbedu yet again for best actress, and you know, so some of the actresses from Lockdown, the series Lockdown, has also been nominated. So it's going to be quite interesting to see who walks away with those awards this evening.
And we already know that, I mean, today it's the main event, but yesterday there was also an award night that gave away a couple of more awards where we saw Rouge, the female rapper, also scooping an award there. Can you tell us a bit about what happened last night?
It was actually on Thursday evening, because last night was only a beach party where all of those that were nominated and those that won on Thursday evening went there to relax and just, you know, unwind and before tonight's big day, or to celebrate those that won on Thursday evening. You know, as we mentioned the awards of Thursday evening, one of the important things that came up at the tea party hosted by the NFVF was the fact that there is no, or a very less amount of transformation, as they said that on Thursday the awards that are being given there are those for the people that work behind the scenes, so the directors, the filmmakers, you know, the script writers. And one woman actually pointed out that the awards of Thursday are pearl white, meaning that it is only white people that get those awards, and those are the really important awards. And come Saturday night, I mean, the awards are black, meaning it's only black people that we see on the screens. But they don't get opportunities to participate in the actual production and the filmmaking, and that is also important to mention that that is where the money lies. So it was a dialogue around that, about how do the NFVF and the film industry in South Africa and the Department of Arts and Culture change that mentality and give black people opportunities to work behind the scenes, to be the producers, to be the script writers, to be the directors of photography, to be the filmmakers. So, you know, we are yet to see in the coming years how that will develop now that these kind of dialogues are being had.
Well, it's good that now we are talking about it and figuring other ways to open up the industry. Thank you so much, Olebogeng. Have a great one. I mean, take a lot of pictures. We can't wait to see everything that's going to happen tonight. Well, that was Olebogeng, who is out in Sun City for the SAFTAs, of course. The Market Theatre is currently presenting one of the most historic plays around the world, derived from a book written by Joan Didion. The Year of the Magical Thinking focuses on Didion's memoir, the year following her husband's death. The play was first directed by David Hare and performed by Vanessa Redgrave at the Booth Theatre in New York in 2007, before it came to the Market Theatre this year. Take a look.
Paramedics arrived for Mr. Dunn at 9:20 p.m., the law read. Mr. Dunn was taken to the hospital at 10:05 p.m.
The Year of the Magical Thinking is a one-man show that is inspired by real-life events. Derived from Didion's book with the same title, this production, acted out by Dorothy Ann Gold, will take you through events of a woman who lost a husband and child just 18 months apart.
He will need a bed with telemetry. When I arrange for the move, I must specify this.
We all go through pain, loss, grief, and this play is set to evoke those underlying emotions that each of us have buried. In the play, we see how Joanne struggled to come to terms with her husband's passing by keeping his shoes and jacket.
Joining rooms, the McKean Pavilion. I can go up in the afternoon.
At the end, she finally comes to terms with her loss and realizes that she needs to move on and make peace. The play at the theatre will be on until the 1st of April.
The first annual Greater Taung Easter Festival will be taking place next week at Mabana Cultural Center in Northwest. The festival will kickstart with a 3-day workshop aimed at educating those who are interested in music and the arts in the area. To tell us more about the event, we're joined by Kagiso Galisutu, who is the event organizer, together with Teddy Cash, who conceptualized this event. Welcome to Trendz.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
We're doing fine.
Doing good.
How was the trip from Northwest all the way here?
Well, it was good. In actual fact, we were in Taung on Thursday. We had a meeting with Khosikgolo Tsepo Mankuruane, so that, like, you know, the festival can actually get its blessing. So we're actually thrilled that we are doing this for the first time as Haulibal Entertainment.
Okay, give us a breakdown of the festival. What should we be expecting from it?
Well, when you open this interview, you talked about the workshop. So we have Alton Mela, who's from USA in Texas. He'll be conducting the workshops, but it's no longer for 3 days. We'll be doing it for 2 days.
Okay.
That would be on Wednesday and Thursday. The thinking behind the workshop, it's about just empowering the poorest of the poor and the people from the villages. Just to make sure that, like, you know, anything is possible. You know, if you have the talent, you can actually, you don't need to come to Joburg and actually present yourself to people who are in Joburg. You can actually do it anywhere where you are. So we are actually taking an international act to the Northwest so that, like, you know, he can actually teach people about the music and the music business at large.
Well, Teddy Cash, I guess that's why you opened up, or well, conceptualized this whole festival, because you feel strongly about it. Tell us about your journey and why you want to do such a project.
You know, as an artist, we talk fan base, you know, and fan base agiwa ke dilo tse dintle tse o di dirang as an artist. So ke ile ke nagana ke re okay, ke ntse nka se dirang se sa go thusang nna le batho ba bangwe mo kasi ya ka ntlhaloganya. So ke a di bala ke re okay, sure, if ke organize event mo Taung ga gona next se diragala mo Taung ka Easter, di artists tse dintsi tlhodile tsa local gore okay, most of the events tse di diragalang ga ba yo mo line-upong ga ba kenywe. So ke re okay, let me organize an event e le gore e tlo go direla batho ba di kgwebo potlana ko kasi tšhelete ka tsatsi lo ka bona batho ba rekisa mo di stolong mo di eng di artists tsa local ke di tsintse mo line-upong. And I think ke sengwe se ile ka se nagana gore okay, se sentle nna nka se dira. So that's why ke ile ke kopana le Rekagiso Galisutu ke magare Rekagiso Galisutu, can you help me ke push festival ko Taung ka di 31 tsa March ga gona next. Then ra dula ra bua a tla ko Taung a tla go checka venue, then ba boela mo gona ba mpolo okay, sure, idea we tshwereng e sharp. So yeah, ke one that ke dira ke agree as an artist, as much as ke tlhoka support, I have to support le batho ba bangwe ka ntlhaloganya. That's why mo line-up ya ka gona le local.
So ke motho wa go fela, ke motho wa go hip hop o ho na le genre tse ding mo?
Re na le Vusinova, re tshwere Donald, Alton Mela, Thebe, re na le batho ba bantsi ba di genre tse di different.
But we saw the rise, I mean, of Mtswako music with like your Kulichana, your Double HPs. So is that like a growing thing that we're not aware of? Hore go Northwest, this thing has blown up?
In actual fact, yes and no. Yes, because look, Kuli, Double HP, Tux, Momulimi, they've started this thing, this Mtswako a genre or sub-genre, if I can call it that. However, it doesn't mean that, like, you know, it has died out. You know, there are people who are actually coming out or mushrooming, like, for example, Teddy Cash. In our stable, we've got Lee STK, who was actually nominated for the Best Female Hip-Hop Artist, you know, last year. So, obviously, other artists are coming out, you know, and it's good that, like, you know, Mafikeng or Northwest, for that matter, can actually take claim to Mtswako genre, you know, which is something that we pride ourselves with.
And where do we get the details? How do we follow this? How do we get the program? Where do we find you?
We have actually created a Facebook page. Or, it's called Greater Taung Easter Festival. We also have a hashtag, We Love Taung. We're also on Instagram as well. So we try to cover everything. And in terms of marketing, we've tried to actually go on the street as well and make sure that, like, you know, we engage with the local radio stations to make sure that, like, you know, the word is actually put out there, because we need as many people to come and actually enjoy, because it is their festival.
Well, Trendz, that is the Taung Festival that's going to be happening on the 31st of March in the Northwest. All you have to do is just go follow them on social media and just go through. It's free, right?
No, it's
not free?
It is not. It's not free, but people can actually get tickets from Ticket Pro.
Okay.
And all the outlets that's Ticket Pro linked, so that they can get their tickets. And obviously on the day of the event, we'll have a ticket stall where people can actually come and buy tickets. So we are excited about this. We are looking forward to actually have a great event.
Well, there you have it. Do go check it out. We'll be taking a quick break. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
SABC is the official broadcaster of the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia.
Technology is used for both positive and negative.
Some governments block the internet in times of protest.
With this internet blackout, it's impossible for me to do it, so I have to travel to Douala.
This act is a true violation of the rights of citizens.
In Africa, people are always coming up with innovative ways to use technology to solve some of their problems.
The more interesting piece of technology is actually the artificial intelligence.
AI, it's utilizing data to make your life easier.
On Network, we'll give you Africa's technology and social media news.
For all your technology news, join Siphumelele Zondi every Saturday at 17:30.
A very good morning to you, and thank you so much indeed for choosing Morning Live.
But I want to know the basic thing.
Griselda Lewis, SABC News, in Parktown, Johannesburg.
Zimbabwe, Mzwandile Mbeje, SABC News, Luanda, Angola.
Let's take a look at your market indicators.
Thanks for staying with Morning Live. Let's bring you your sports news.
Let's take a look at your satellite image.
Set the agenda for the day with Morning Live.
Welcome back to Trendz. A fashion extravaganza graced the shores of Cape Town this week, where African Fashion International turned a home store into a high fashion catwalk. Take a look.
Fashion Week kicked off with a bang this week at the waterfront in Cape Town. Gavin Raja showcased his latest creation, steering haute couture in a bold new direction with an 80s-inspired collection.
So my collection was really inspired by the 80s, and I think one of the things about the 80s was that it was very dystopic. So in a way, it's very much what was happening now in society. People are looking for a very utopic vision. There was so much kind of pain. It was, the start of AIDS. It was the fighting for human rights, basic human rights. And, for me, it's no different to where we are now. I mean, kids are fighting for human rights. We're fighting for child protection rights. And so I wanted to be fun. I wanted it to be youthful. I wanted to bring a sense of optimism. And it's very different from what I normally do. But I was very inspired to making sure that it was a strong, colorful statement.
Underground street culture, graffiti, the power of fashion, and utilizing art as a tool for activism are themes woven into the new season pieces. The result is a fun, wearable collection sweeping the stakes when it comes to sports lux.
Great collection. The collection tonight was truly stunning. You know, in the true Gavin Raja spirit. It was a collection that is easy to wear, very at-home kind of stuff. I think what he did with the collaboration with us at home was to make sure that fashion lovers can enjoy leisure wear at home and still look beautiful. I also enjoyed some of his evening gowns, and particularly the showstopper, which was a big and very amazing wedding gown. So I think he did very well, and I'm very particularly proud that he flies the flag for South Africa with his work with children, as well as UNICEF. So really proud moment for Gavin.
The launch coincided with the country's Human Rights Day, and Raja championed his cause with UNICEF to end violence on children.
So my ambassadorship with UNICEF this is 10 years that I'm celebrating with them, but my work is really about helping children. And so, obviously I work with AFI, and I use fashion as a platform, and they allow me to use that platform to bring visibility to causes, for children.
Gavin Raja has been an incredible national ambassador for UNICEF. The partnership started 10 years ago, and today is an example of what he has been able to do for children, very quietly, very silently, but very effectively. So I wanted to take the opportunity to really thank him for his commitment to children. 4 years ago in Cape Town, we launched together the campaign on ending violence against children. And today in South Africa, the issue of violence against children is all over the media, it's all over the public space. And I have to say really thank to him for helping me navigate this.
AFI Fashion Week takes place biannually and runs for 4 days. The week comes to a close on March 24th, with the next one taking place in Johannesburg later this year.
What would Fashion Week be without hair and makeup from some of the country's top stylists? These guys have given us some tips and tricks of a masterclass that they have this past week. Take a look.
I Am African is the theme for this year's event, placing focus on African designers from the continent. Makeup is living up to the theme, merging age-old African makeup with modern day. Scarification is the latest trend, which was recently seen in the Black Panther film and has now been adopted for the runway. Senior makeup artist for MAC, Marco Louise, enlightens us on achieving the look, while Rain tells us what to expect this season.
Initially, what I thought was going to happen is we were going to do a lot of traditional sort of looks with, the dots and the stripes and the colors. And what I find is that even though we will be seeing a little bit of that during the shows, there are some really amazing costume moments as well, which are going to be super African driven. There's a lot of modern makeup, and what I love about this is that I think African designers all over the continent are finally not trying to tell this big story, and we're super professional. We look like we have seen international. We're creating our own trends, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this painting, it's just as modern as last season's New York. Scarification for me, I think, is interesting again because of its storytelling nature, and it means different things in different parts of Africa, but for the most part, the Ethiopian tribes, a lot of them use it on the women for beautification. So, like I said in the class, I'm really interested in the origins of beauty right now. So, hundreds of years ago, those scars represented what we now use blush for and liner. So it's same thing. I just think that it's super interesting. And again, like I said in the class, I think as Africans, all of us should be asking one another about their heritage and their culture, and instead of making it this taboo where we don't open the conversation.
So we have a lot of colour. If you had a look at Gavin Raja last night, you'll see that was just a taster. We did all of the colour, and I think we're doing quite a lot of kind of classics, but a little twist. So you'll be seeing quite a lot of reds. It's an autumn-winter season, but I feel like the makeup is a lot less seasonal, and we're just having fun with it. Lots of metallics, loads of red and deep wine lips, and then lots of colour.
Where there's makeup, there must be hair. Hairstylist Aubrey Lewitz is also in town for the week. Based in Los Angeles, he is one of the best the country has to offer. He's creating the styles for the event and shared some tips on how to create what looks like an intricate style in just a few minutes.
I wanted to show what's really trending in North America right now. I teach a lot in LA and New York, and the styles that I did is kind of undone, very lived in, but they have a strong structure. So I did a Mohawk braid, I did some knotting that also looks like braiding. So we're seeing a lot of texture. So texture doesn't just come in, you know, big African textured hair. Texture could also be a type of braiding. So there's many forms of texture. So that was our main focus today.
Though hair and makeup finishes off the look, the main focus on any model must always be the garment.
Well, we'll be giving you a lot more of that next week, of all the runways that are happening currently in Cape Town. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
SABC is the official broadcaster of the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia.
SABCnews.com is your one-stop digital portal to all the news you need. With a website that is easy to use on mobile, SABC News prides itself in being the primary source of public service content across multiple platforms. Watch live streams of all the big news events on the SABC News YouTube channel, which is one of the most viewed South African YouTube channels globally. And catch up on the best of SABC television and radio news. Follow breaking news on all of the SABC News social media platforms, interact with SABC News on Facebook, and stay connected on Twitter for the latest headlines and real-time updates by our reporters. SABC News, everywhere.
Welcome back to Trendz. Every year, fashion trends evolve with every season, and as we prepare for autumn and cold temperatures ahead of winter in just a few months, fashion brand Guess Jeans is already one season ahead with the launch of the 2018 spring collection in partnership with actress and singer J-Lo. The collection brings back the 50s fashion. If you fancied Marilyn Monroe's dress sense then, this collection is going to definitely appeal you. Take a look at it.
I'm still Jenny from the block. Used to have a little, now I have a lot. No matter where I go, I know where.
She is making waves in the music industry, and her style of fashion is always over the top and in line with the latest fashion trends. So it makes sense to bestow Jenny from the block with the title of the first oldest guest model and the cover girl of the fashion brand Spring 2018 campaign. So what inspired this range?
As you can see, it's very much 60s inspired, a lot of gingham prints, a lot of sexy styling, like the white shirts with the gingham shorts. So she made a personal selection of all the items, and everything represents her and her aesthetic, if I can put it that way. So we have some beautiful gingham pieces, like I said. We have tops, we have shorts, we also have the off-the-shoulder dresses, we have some lingerie-inspired rompers, we have beautiful off-the-shoulder dresses, and then also a limited range in South Africa, the Marciano range, which is beautiful, elegant pieces, and we have beautiful dresses with prints. It's flowy, it's sexy, so everything that encapsulates Guess and Jennifer Lopez.
If you love Marilyn Monroe's fashion sense, here's what to expect.
So the first look we have here tonight is from the Marciano collection. We have a beautiful laser cut lace look in a stunning light blue. We have a bit of coverage but also some exposed skin as it's only lined in the important parts, and then also very trendy in terms of the bell sleeve detail. Beautiful Marciano dress. So this is probably one of the most iconic looks of the collection, I would say. The combo of a pure cotton button-up shirt tied in the waist with our beautiful gingham short just creates that timeless look, and it just looks stunning on her, don't you think? So once again, a very iconic look. This t-shirt is actually featured in Jennifer Lopez's music video for Amor, Amor, Amor. So beautiful play on the logo. It's bigger than what we usually use. It's very striking, very iconic with a good pair of Guess jeans. So we have a beautiful lingerie-inspired romper or play suit, whatever you prefer to call it. Beautiful detailing, and we've paired it with our iconic Guess branded belt, which you can wear an outfit like that or use with jeans and a more casual look. Absolutely beautiful. That's our beautiful off-the-shoulder dress. We've also paired it with the Guess iconic belt, and this time in white. Absolutely beautiful, very flattering and trendy silhouette. A must-have for the season. So here we have a beautiful off-the-shoulder dress once again in a pure white. Some lovely fashionable styling with the pull-up detail on the sleeve, which can be relaxed to be worn in a longer sleeve, and also once again that bell sleeve detailing being pulled through. A look that you can easily take from day to night. And we have some lovely shoes as well, part of the Jennifer Lopez collection. As you can see, a sateen fabrication in light pink, full of embellishments and slogans. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to wear the Jenny from the Block outfits. Well, in continuation with our gospel music celebrations in spirit of Lent, we have 22-year-old gospel artist Sandra Mokoka, who just dropped her debut album titled Kingdom Worship with us today. Hi, Sandra. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Well, congratulations on your debut album.
Thank
so far,
you.
how's that going?
It's going so well. People are responding so good to it. I'm really happy. Yeah.
What's in there? How many tracks do you have? What's the title? Why that title? What's in there?
Yeah. Kingdom Worship is all about giving God a kingdom-worthy, a kingdom-standard worship. And the album has 10 tracks. And it talks about victory, that we have victory in the blood of the Lamb. And it also talks about how we are a chosen generation, a set-apart generation for Him.
Well, it's not often that you find young musicians starting out in gospel.
Yeah.
I mean, why did you take that route apart from all the other music genres in there?
Well, you know what? I grew up in church. My dad is a pastor. So,
PK.
You know, yeah, by default, I was already a gospel singer. But it really stands out for me. You know, I get to sing something that has such depth for me. You know, it's not just singing, you know, to a guy or something. It's singing to the Lord. So, yeah, it's really beautiful.
And tell us a bit about the journey on how you signed on with Universal Music.
Oh, my gosh, that's a very interesting story. What happened... at my school, right? I went to AFDA and I was studying music. And for our final year, we have an exam, right? And the exam is an album launch. So what they do is they invite certain people from big recording companies to come and watch us, potentially sign us. So my friend, I don't know if you guys know her, well, you guys know her, Shakana.
Okay.
She's the one who called Universal people to come check me out. So... long story short, I got signed. I'm here.
Wow. Lucky you. Tell us a bit about some of the singles that you plan on dropping in and what we should look forward to from you this year.
Well, you should look forward to a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm bringing fun back in Christianity.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Gospel fun. The single that I just released now is called Sidiba Sanete. It talks about the blood of the Lamb. It talks about how we found this well that has the blood of the Lamb. And when we jump into that well, we get, you know, healing, we get restoration. So that's the first single. And then there's Tlolo, which means victory in my home language, Sepedi. It talks about victory. That's it, yeah.
Talking about Sepedi, you're inspired by a lot of musicians that are from Limpopo.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about those people and if you've influenced or taken some of their music and added a touch of that into the sounds we can expect from your music.
Yeah, definitely. Judith Sipuma, I love her. Dr. Dumi is from this, so I did take a little bit of, they inspire me. The whole album, if you listen to it, it's really just amazing, and it takes from them. It takes a little bit from them, and they're amazing. They inspire me so much. So the album is just amazing.
Are there any collaborations in there?
No, it's just me for now. An introduction of Sandra.
Okay.
Then we're gonna have collaborations later on.
So what can we expect? Like maybe a hip hop, or is Shakana gonna be in one of the gospel songs?
You know what I mean? Like I should hook it up. Shakana needs to call me. Well, I need to call her.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Sandra, for coming. What's the name of the single again?
Sidi Basanit.
Yeah, Sidi Basanit. That's gonna be Sandra performing for us. She's closing. I mean, that's it. Wow, shoo. The time has already flown by so fast. Sandra, do take it away. But before she does, please do follow us on Trendz on SABC. Interact with us. Let us know what you think of us. And from me and the Trendz team, it's a goodbye from us.
Satani yung hurumeti chali botong ifela na kitepa motivo wa makala hakithula kamari okonyan uye chasi edili swi keba yena mukambe Bana bamudimo bana besho Lisi gela la tatep Lola momati akonyana Renare huecha klolo Ikwana momati yeah Ako niya na Shulo Ikaw na mamagnahan Hoshia usipala kisilo Kaya na mahon na chosi Malachia fala ti fofu chabona Rena, Juan Shakier.
32 nations, 44 matches live on SABC 1 and 19 SABC radio stations. SABC is the official broadcaster of the 2018 FIFA World Cup Russia.
Welcome to Media Monitor, the show that